We light this chalice for the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment. We light this symbol of our faith as we gather together.
I want to invite you all to look at that order of service again and see all the opportunities that are there, growing every week, actually, for spiritual growth, adult education, and connecting in lots of different ways. In particular, I want you to pay attention to an email and some Facebook postings that will go out early this week about some social justice and witness events that are coming up, that have just developed this last week. One is around the lives that have been lost in detention camps where COVID is now spreading. A witness event on Tuesday will involve 30 religious leaders who will preside over a memorial service. I will be there, and you all can join online. We'll send out the link tomorrow. But also, we're going to be setting up 2 Zoom calls about 2 issues that we want people to reflect on together. In our community, we want to reflect together on how our Black Lives Matters and larger racial justice work feels like it is coming to the fore recently again and demanding that we respond, even during this time of stay at home. Additionally, questions about the rollback in environmental protections and a larger strategic look at how we will serve and protect and defend our natural world and try and reverse climate change, that too is feeling pressing right now. And so we will schedule 2 Zoom gatherings, one the week after next around our racial justice work, and another in early June. So please pay attention, and we would love to have your input and thought and connection as part of our trying to discern what our work is and how to step into it together. I have 2 other announcements, but for those, I'm going to invite forward first Joe Dellert and Nancy Buffum. They are, were, the co-chairs of this year's annual operating fund drive, and I feel like I need to say that they are living in the same household and married, so they're allowed to stand this close together. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for making our fund drive fun and successful. We raised over $560,000, and there were over 200 pledges. It's short of our goal, but I think that we can continue to trickle in and give Vanessa a good tool to be able to lead our church into the future. I even took a pie for you. Thank you.
Hello, I would just like to say, for those of you who may be visiting for the first time in a while attending our services or have begun watching our services since the shelter in place, that this community feels so strong and is growing, and we would welcome you to also make a contribution to next year's budget, which will be the work of our board beginning this month. So there's still that green button, and if you are a friend or curious or just grateful, please do consider making a one-time donation to our annual operating fund.
Thank you. Thank you both. We owe a huge round of applause. So from all your homes and from here, we want to thank you both for doing such an incredible job. This was a tough year, and yet everybody has shown up with incredible faith and commitment to this community, and it's in part because you inspired that, and we're so incredibly grateful. And as Nancy said and Joe seconded, if you want to pledge towards next year's fiscal year to help us make it strong through this next challenging year, please just hit that green button and make a promise. We would really love to have your support and need it. This is this time of endings that we're already in as a church community. It became evident last week when we sort of marked the end of our religious education program. And this week, we're going to mark one ending to our small group ministry. Margot Campbell-Gross, who supports our small group ministry program, particularly its leaders, she wanted to be here, but she couldn't. So Anish Johnson, who's our outgoing co-chair, is here to say a few words, and then Margot's asked me to say a few that she would like said this morning.
Our small groups offer a place to belong and to care for each other, to share important parts of our lives. We practice deep listening, which enables us to form lasting connections, to minister to one another, and to create a stronger community here. Since June last year, we've had almost 50 participants across 2 summer and 4 fall small groups. Once shelter-in-place restrictions began, our groups moved meetings online using video conferencing, offering each other an important connection in these trying times. I want to thank all the small group facilitators who have made this possible, namely Bobby Kovach, Elaine Pratt, Greg Biggs, Judith Stoddard, Louise Diskerud, Millie Phillips, Margaret Levitt, Mary Walsh, and Reverend Margot Gross, our spiritual advisor. It's been my honor to serve the last 2 years alongside you and many others to make this important ministry available to our congregation. I especially want to thank Bobby and Greg, who will be continuing on as co-chairs for this ministry. Zoom-based summer groups will start in July, and sign-up information is available both in your order of service and on the church website.
Thank you, Anish. Yes, if you'll look in your order of service, you see that invitation that Anish just mentioned. And now these words from Margot. I'm sorry that I cannot be here in the sanctuary this morning because I would have liked to honor Anish Johnson in person. Anish has been an exemplary leader and given of himself generously to the small group ministry program over the last 2 years. He was co-chair with Bobby this year. Bobby will serve another year, and as was stated, she's welcoming Greg Biggs as her co-chair. Over the past 2 years, though, Anish, though he traveled, always managed to communicate with me and the small group ministry facilitators about upcoming meetings, about room use, about calendaring, about small group ministry business. Anish made great efforts to get to our monthly meetings whenever possible. I remember once he rushed in just in time, having taken an Uber from the San Francisco airport where he had landed less than an hour earlier. Over these past 2 years, Anish has experienced many changes in his life, including moving house, but he was always available to small group ministry. I greatly appreciate his excellent logistical and technical skills, which served us well, especially lately. And I especially appreciate Anish's sensitivity, his good humor, his willingness to help, his courage in addressing any problems that might arise. Anish has been a generous, wise, and dedicated leader of the program. I thank him for his ministry over the last 2 years. Bless you, Anish. May you go well. This concludes our announcements. And now let's sing together our meditation on breathing as we center ourselves into this morning.